Hi everyone. I'm coming on here because I'm feeling very frustrated with how Alex Barnes Ross has handled things. Victim blaming is not okay. It just isn't in any community. Alex, your protesting style was no different than Aaron's. You were more aggressive than Aaron. You actually set foot inside a Scientology building. Aaron has never once done that. Not once. You almost got a protest shut down in Paris because you refused to stand in the protesting box. And these protesters didn't want to have anything to do with you because you were doing it for clout. Aaron's the reason why your channel has had success, because you got those 10,000 subscribers from Aaron. Victim blaming has no place in any community. It is very harmful. When you victim blame others, it's not okay. It's like a form of gaslighting and manipulation to make them feel like their thoughts and feelings are not valid. And this is just my disclaimer. This isn't in generalities. This is not speaking towards one person or another person. This is in general. When you victim blame somebody, you're basically gaslighting them to think that their thoughts and feelings are not valid, which their feelings are very valid. When you sit here and say you want people to be sued over and over again in the anti-Scientology community, that's a you problem. It's not a problem for some other people who have tried to move on. I am moving on, and my channel has integrity. My channel will continue to have integrity. But when you victim blame others, it makes a spotlight on you, because I find that there's hypocrisy in this community. And I'm going to call it out there. I've seen a lot of hypocrisy in this anti-Scientology community. There is no one right way to protest. People can protest inside their home, protesting Scientology. I do it on a daily basis. I protest Scientology inside my own home by talking about Scientology, and I have done that. I have put out more content on Scientology than most. And Scientology is a human trafficking cult. I support people like Brooks Gibbs, who doesn't victim blame anyone, but he's been trying to get an important movement on the map because Scientology wants streets vacated without the public's approval. It should always be about the public's approval, because there's only about 2,000 active Scientologists in Clearwater, Florida. And Scientology should not have the right to vacate streets without the citizens' approval. The same with 26 more acres are going to be built, are up for grabs by the city of Clearwater in order to get money. And instead of vacating those buildings should be leased so that the citizens of Clearwater still have an active downtown. Because what Scientology has done has created a ghost town. Scientology isn't the victim here. Aaron Smith Levin is the victim here. In his trial, he was not allowed to give a proper defense. This has been proven by several people that were there in the courtroom. The fact that Alex Barnes Ross wants to say he protests the right way There is no right way or wrong way to protest. But when you constantly are bashing somebody when they're down, that makes you look like a horrible human being. That makes you look like a clout chaser. I've seen people do this in the anti-Scientology space. I've seen them bash people who are down and then make them to feel like, oh, they're not worthy in this space. Nora did this with Poe on the Go and my lawyer friend Zach. My lawyer friend Zach does Lego builds now. He does not do Scientology content because Nora chased him out of this space. I speak the truth. I've been here for a long time, and I'm going to continue to support the anti-Scientology movement with the people that are actually fighting Scientology. Scientology is the enemy, and children cannot consent in Scientology. Scientology believes that children are big beings and little bodies. And Scientology has harassed a lot of the ex-Scientologists in this space. I've had some of my videos turned to private, which I know I've never done behind the scenes in my YouTube space. So I know there's something horrible at work because they're getting offended with me talking about Scientology. Scientology is a human trafficking cult. Victim blaming ex-Scientologists for all the abuses that they have gone through is not okay. It's not. Aaron has gone through a lot of abuses at the hands of Scientology. He was not even allowed to bring up why he was there. He was there advocating for a young man who's been missing for almost 10 years. His name is Flavio Lugli. And the Luglis had reached out to Aaron in order to help their son, who they have not spoken to in 15 years. The Luglis were high-ranking level Scientologists when they were in. In fact, Mr. Lugli was David Miscavige's tailor. David Miscavige is the leader of Scientology. He is a horrible dictator. And Elizabeth Moss, who plays in The Handmaid's Tale, she absolutely donates to Scientology. She's an active Scientologist. And the fact that she does not know she's living in a cult speaks volumes. Like, she portrays a girl in a cult on The Handmaid's Tale. We just need to come together and be kind because life is too short and people are starting to get discouraged with people who attack one another and attack people in general. I've seen it too, where several people from Nora's camp have come over to my channel to harass me. It's not okay. Like, I am fighting Scientology by speaking about Scientology on a daily basis. I protest for my own home because in Delaware, it's a two-party state. You have to get permission to get anyone on camera. Anyone. Even your neighbors and your and stuff. So just be respectful. When I'm at the beach, I don't try to get up in anyone's face. That's just how I am when I go down to the beach, because you never know who somebody might get offended when you tell them that you have a YouTube channel. They might get offended that you are live streaming you being there. Scientology is a horrible human trafficking cult, and no one should be victim blaming somebody who's down, who's in jail, who can't even make money for his family. His YouTube channel is his life source to make money for his family. And Brooks Gibbs spoke eloquently on Aaron's channel tonight that he supports Aaron. He's talked to Aaron and he's been in good spirits, and that he's waiting for commissary and all that stuff. You do everything with your pillowcase in prison and in jail. Christina Randall has a wonderful channel. She went to prison in Pinellas County. She knows the ins and outs about the jail life. And they use their pillowcase for a lot of things. And their pillowcase, yes, it was flat, but she used to stuff her other, like, clothes in it so she could have a pillow at night. When you're in jail, you don't sleep much. They get them up at like 2 in the morning for like breakfast. And then lunch is at like 11. And then dinner's at like 4 or sometime like that, 4 or 5. So they have to go through all the night without any food or water or any type of stuff. And in some prisons and jails, they want you to be quiet. Some older... That's why Christina Randall had to cover her head with like her pillowcase, so she would block out some of the noise, because it can get very noisy in jail. Because when people are trying to sleep, it can be noisy, and they allow them to watch TV and stuff. A lot of people who are in jail find Jesus. Scientology is a satanic cult, and it really has tied to the satanic worship. LRH has always stated that Jesus Christ is a pedophile. Jesus Christ is not a pedophile. In fact, that's not true. And Scientology makes up lies about their ex-members. Their hit websites are not truthful. And the fact that Nora wanted to use the hit websites and say that's absolutely how Aaron acts, it's not true. This is why I don't like victim blaming of any kind. When you victim blame, it makes you look bad. It makes you look horrible. It makes you, in general, look like you have lost morals, that you have lost the plot, like that Scientology is the enemy. Scientology has harmed children. They cover up SA of children every single day. Aaron has spoken out over and over and unmasked a lot of these perpetrators that have covered up SA of children. Mike Rinder is one of them. He was a high-ranking OSA operative while he was in the Church of Scientology. And he did nothing to help the victims that he perpetrated some of the information. He's the reason why Jenna Miscavige was interrogated so hard. He's the reason why Jenna Miscavige didn't get to call her mother. Scientology destroys families. They destroy families by tearing apart families. Their forced disconnection policy is always 100% mandatory. If you do not handle that person, you are forced to disconnect from them. Scientology has harmed a lot of people in the anti-Scientology space. They did it with Confident Chris when they knocked his teeth out. He went into the hospital and had to have several staples in the back of his head. Confident Chris was a wonderful human being who called Scientologists duckies. Like, seriously. He was a kind, gentle human being who did not deserve to be targeted like that. And yes, 2 years ago, Aaron was detained, but it was proven that Patrick Perry was the perpetrator and was a Scientology operative. And his wife was in Scientology. It all came out through Streets LA. Scientology audit. He wears sunglasses so that no one can facially recognize him. It's a way to give back to the community. And he started protesting because one of the security guards said a disgusting remark about his dead son, who was shot in a drive-by shooting, claiming that Streets LA was not a good father and that his son was involved in gang violence. His son was never involved in gang violence, and it was unproven. This is why it's so important not to blame victims. It's so important not to harm victims of Scientology. It's so easy to get in this mindset that we got to blame everyone for everything. I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with that because I find that to be offensive. I really do. And people who want to trash talk others, it's not okay. I've seen it. Aaron made sure that Alex Barn Ross had subscribers after that live, and he proved that Alex Barnes Ross only had 55 subscribers at the time when he did that video with him. He claims he had over 1,000 subscribers at that time. No, he did not. He couldn't even go live. This is why victim blaming victims of Scientology's abuses is not okay. Everyone protests differently. Everyone is not perfect. Everyone is human. They're human beings. And it's important to get the word out about the abuses of Scientology and the abuses of how harmful this human trafficking cult is. It is very harmful. It's similar to like the Mormon Church. It's similar to like the Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe those are also cults. And I also believe the Branch Davidians were solely linked to Scientology because at that time they were fighting for religious freedom, just like Scientology was. This is why it's important to get the facts and the information out there. Even if you do different type deep dives to different cults, you're getting information out there. Aaron has done a lot of good work, and Aaron will continue to do a lot of good work, but victim blaming him is not okay. He did not deserve to be thrown in jail because Scientology slammed a door on his foot. They even showed that his boot was scuffed all up. Aaron should have photographed the bruises on his foot. He needed to document that, and maybe that might have swayed the judge. He wasn't even allowed to bring up the fact that his channel is called Growing Up in Scientology. He wasn't allowed to bring up the fact that he works for a foundation that helps ex-Scientologists leave the Church of Scientology. Scientology does not benefit the public. They've made it known as clear as day that they do not want any public in those empty buildings in Clearwater, Florida. Fighting Scientology will be my number one mission. And Scientology has harmed Aaron and his family. Heather was forced to disconnect from all of her family members because Aaron and her decided to leave Scientology. They didn't think Scientology was in a favorable light at that time. Scientology is a human trafficking cult. And we also got to remember that Aaron gave Mike Rinder his first job when he left Scientology. It's the truth. Mike Rinder also victim blames Miriam Francis. Victim blaming has no place in the anti-Scientology community. Victim blaming has no place in any community. It just makes you lose the fact that you are morally obligated to help in any way, shape, or form the anti-Scientology movement. Scientology is a human trafficking cult. And I will continue to speak the truth about that because Scientology has harmed so many members that have left this horrible cult. Scientology needs to be held accountable for all the crimes they have committed, including the RICO violations, putting credit cards in their members' names without their permission, and lying about financial documents stating that they have a higher income than they do. This is why I support Aaron's channel, because he's put a lot of facts out there. He's named names when it comes to some of these sexual predators within Scientology. Thank you and have a beautiful night. Please make your children aware that Scientology does not benefit the public. It only harms the public. Thank you and have a beautiful evening. Take time for your family and friends. Do not send anyone hate in your everyday life. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy your family and friends.